What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode. GMAK, the Boiler Man, coming at you from the backyard today. Like I told you guys, man, we just keep messing with different places we're shooting content. I want to come up with something that's a little bit more colorful, a little bit more poppy, something that really gives us an opportunity to tell our story from with a decent background. You know what I mean? Again, it's all a game. We're just learning how to play it. If it's your first time here, we appreciate you. Please subscribe to the channel, man. It really helps us. We've been putting a lot of time into content here. And while you're at it, smash the like button. It really helps the algorithm get pushed up. And we appreciate you guys being here. Today's topic, man, you guys have heard me talk about safeties inside the boiler room, but I want to talk about equipment, and I'm going to share with you a story or two of some of the things that have happened to me, not only inside the boiler room, but just on job sites in general. And I'm not like a Mr. Stickler for safety and things like that. I'm not an OSHA guy. I just have come across situations that have put me in precarious situations and, maybe some things that you guys can avoid moving forward based on my own experiences. I think it's important. And so I'm here to share them with you. Um, I've been in the trades now for, pretty much since I'm 17 years old. So about 26 years. When you say that out loud, I'll be honest. And then, just spending all these years in contracting and, boiler work and things like that. I mean, I was really doing a lot of general contracting. So, building houses from the ground up, roofing. We did a little bit of concrete, really dibble and dabble into a little bit of everything. And it really helped me become like a well-rounded person. So when I transitioned over to boiler work, made the transition fairly easy. I kind of knew tools. I knew my way around things. And just working alongside other people also, because that's a huge challenge. Is people when you generally come into a field and you've never had to work side by side with other people, it's a challenge unto itself to be able to work hand in hand as a team with somebody and pull through for your teammates basically. So throughout the years, man, I've had a lot of accidents. I've had scaffolds collapse on me. Um, Issues with ladders and things like that. And I think that's the main thing I wanted to focus on today. For us, especially in the boiler trade, and the bigger boiler rooms, we usually have ladders on site. It's been told to like the supers and the management to try to have ladders on site. It's very hard for, especially techs to carry around, all the tools and equipment we need and parts we need, and also be mindful of bringing ladders on the job. So a lot of times they'll leave a ladder on site, and it's happened to me on a couple of occasions, but one in particular, I was working probably about 15 or 20 feet up, and I was working on a fresh air fan. For those of you who don't know, fresh air fan basically is a mechanism inside the boiler room that pulls fresh air from the outside to feed oxygen to the burner, so you get good combustion. But they typically are a little bit higher up, on the wall towards the ceiling. This particular boiler room was very high up, and I happened to be all the way at the top of this ladder, and I could almost hear it like it was a metal ladder, which blows my mind because a lot of times it's the wood ladders that would fail on you, and you kind of hear it, and and you might just get a collapse. But this was a metal ladder, and I could hear the thing creaking, and then like out of nowhere, it just like collapsed. The top pieces of the ladder just fell apart on me, and on the frame for the fan, there's like a little bit of a cross section frame, metal frame, and it's bolted to the wall. So I was holding on to the metal frame, like holding myself up off the ground because the ladder had fallen out from underneath me. So now I'm hanging here, probably from my feet to the floor is probably about 10 feet. But being up there in the air, and then below me was a pipe. So I remember swinging and having to like push off the wall to let go so I could land outside the pipe and not land on the pipe. And, it was one of my first experiences having ladder just break on me. You know what I mean? It's been crazy to be in construction for, 10 years. And again, I've been a part of scaffold collapses and things, but I never had a ladder break on me. And, within reason, I was able to stay fairly safe. And here I am, in the boiler business for, I think at that time it was maybe like 3 years, maybe 4. And this is happening to me. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this is so crazy to be like climbing on top of roofs and, doing, new, new construction and building, roof rafters and doing all this crazy and climbing up high heights and really never having like anything major like that happen. And then to be in a boiler room for, 3, 4 years and have a ladder break on you was pretty surreal. And then, maybe not that long after that, I was at another job and I had the ladder propped up. And as I climbed up the ladder, nobody was footing it, which was my first mistake. And that's something we're going to talk about. The ladder slid out from under me. And luckily, it got hung, well, sort of luckily, but it got hung up on another piece of, either like a valve or a fitting. And it like hung me up just off the ground. But had it not been there, I would have slid completely flat pancaked on the floor. So like within a few, maybe like a year or two, these two incidents happened. So they had me thinking a lot about safety and being, smart while you're on the job and being mindful of your surroundings and also checking the equipment you're going to work on. If you're going to work on ladders that aren't yours or you're working on items that are not things that you maintain yourself, I feel like it's like parachuting. Like if you're going to jump out of an airplane, right, you're going to want to inspect the equipment before you jump out of a perfectly good airplane. And obviously climbing a ladder is not the same as jumping out of an airplane. But my point is you want to be very thorough in making sure that the things you're working on, the rivets, the bolts, however it's put together is in good integrity, right? Because, your life is on the line when you're climbing up there. When you're doing these jobs, man, none of it is, cut and dry. And every time you go out there, you're risking yourself, whether you be climbing on roofs or, whatever your profession is, there's always a level of risk in our world. When you're blue collar, man, you're getting up every day, you're either doing electrical, you can get electrocuted, right? You're climbing, you're doing construction, you're building houses, scaffolds collapse, you can slip, you can slide, you can fall off a roof. I've seen it happen so many times. And then in my business, there's explosions and you're working in, less than favorable, environments, and all of these things have to be taken into consideration when you're going to a job site to work, because it can mean life or death in a lot of situations or serious injury. And so the idea, is I'm a risk taker. Don't get me wrong. A lot of things I've done that are probably a little unorthodox, and that was just taught to me by the older generation. Just little tips and tricks and things I've learned along the way that most people probably wouldn't do. And a lot of my guys look at me and say, I'm easy for doing, but at the same time, I try to do things within the safety limitations, especially of the equipment that I'm working with. So, it's just something to really keep in mind as you guys go about your career or, now that I've gotten older. And it's so funny, like growing up, I remember the old timers always telling me, yo, you gotta slow down or don't do this or don't push yourself, you know, the body, the body, the body, the body, the body. And when you're a young man, you think you're bulletproof. So you're just sitting there with this bulletproof mindset and saying basically you to what the old timers trying to tell you. And to me, in my opinion, man, it's like, now that I'm a little bit older, and again, I don't know, I feel kind of old, but my body, 43, going to be 43 years old in December. But the body is just can only handle so much. So even to you younger guys, I'm going to tell you like it was told me, and you'll probably still have to learn the hard way. Take your time. Don't rush it. Look around. Be mindful. Rushing is not going to get you anywhere. If anything, it's going to get you hurt. I had my first herniated disc at 18 years old. Worst thing that ever happened to me at that time. And I still feel the effects of that every single day, and then compacted by more injuries and things that have happened over the years. So again, safety being paramount. I know it's crazy to see myself on a video right now talking about safety and how important it is, but it is, and it changes the game and it changes how you approach things if you're smart about it. Don't get yourself hurt. It's not worth it. You can still make a good living while being smart. Matter of fact, you're even more valuable to a company or to yourself if you take your time, look at things a certain way, grow off of that, be smart, live to see another day. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was a little bit more heavy on the, a lot of times we're just talking about systems and different things, but I really wanted to touch on this because for somebody that's been through it a few times and I know the effects of it, and now my body's really feeling the effects of it many years later. Take your time, man. Enjoy it. It's great, to be in these fields and learn to use your hands, but why not do it in a safe manner, in my opinion? So Again, appreciate you guys being here. You guys always bring it. Leave a comment below. Let's have a discussion about it. Really helps the algorithm. Let's push this channel up. Put a lot of work and effort into this. Hope you're having a great day. Enjoy it. Keep building your business. Keep growing. Peace.